Headlines. President Buhari blames militants for drop in oil revenue. Appeal Court reserves judgment in Nnamdi Kanu's application. Gas explosion in Jigawa leaves several people injured. Crowds gather as Queen's coffin goes on display in London. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday blamed the fall in oil revenue on the spate of insurgency in the country. He said the activities of the Boko Haram in the northeast and insurgency in the southeast were preventing the country from realizing its full potential as an oil-producing country. He spoke at a stakeholders meeting in Owerri, the Imo State capital, after inaugurating 3 projects executed by the Governor Hope Uzodinma administration.
We are trying to drive the economic development of Nigeria through the provision of vital infrastructure, the governance, and the rest of the country. This can be seen in our commitment to certain critical projects such as deep sea ports, new airport terminals and buildings, various railway projects, a network of gas and power infrastructure, roads and bridges, including the second Niger bridge, telecommunications, infrastructure, mentioned but a few.
And on security matters, troops of Operation Forest Sanity have neutralized several bandits and dislodged camps during clearance operations conducted across some hard-to-reach locations spanning Chikun and Igabi local government areas. In an operational feedback, the troops said that they neutralized an unspecified number of bandits while clearing out insurgents and bandit camps at Apewehi in Chikun local government area. Recovered from the bandits were 3 locally made rifles, 1 AK-47 magazine, 1 AK-47 top cover, 4 radio chargers, and 11 mobile phones, among others. The Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, in a statement from the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, thanked the troops for the rescue of the 10 citizens and their relentless spirit displayed in the ongoing operations. Plateau State Police Command has vowed to arrest the killers of the 14-year-old Mariam Salisu, who was murdered on Tuesday in the outskirts of Babale village of Jos North local government area of the state. The State Police Commissioner, Bartholomew Onyeka, represented by the Divisional Police Officer of Nasarawa Gong Division, Musa Hassan, said this when he visited the residence of the deceased. Trust TV had reported that the deceased was killed with some of her vital organs removed during the incident. Ado Musa completes the report.
This is the hill where Mariam Salisu and 12 other girls went to fetch firewood for their parents. Mariam couldn't return alive after she was attacked by a man suspected to be a ritualist who killed and dumped her corpse in a trench. When the corpse of Mariam was discovered in a trench with her vital organs removed, the entire village of Babale was thrown into confusion, with many saying the incident was the first the community is experiencing in more than 50 years. The divisional police officer in the area, while condoling with Mariam's family, vowed that the police will do everything possible to arrest the perpetrator and bring him to book.
This morning we are here for 2 things. We are here to see the Sarki and how to synergize to make sure those perpetrators are arrested and brought to book. And also to assure the family that we are doing everything within our reach to ensuring that those that commit that act are arrested and brought to book. I am calling for the entire community to give us this information that will lead us to the arrest of the suspect.
Mariam's family say they will be grateful if the culprit is arrested and pray Allah to give the police the wisdom to get him apprehended.
Alhamdulillah, na gode wa Allah suka zo su taimaka mu cikin wannan hali da muke ciki. Allah Ubangiji ya taimaka musu. Allah ya taimake su kokarin da suka yi.
Responding on behalf of the community, the acting district head, Aminu Mai Samari, also appreciated the police for their commitment towards arresting the culprit.
Also appreciate the Commissioner of Police, the DPO Nasarawa Gong, the area command, and other vigilante and neighborhood watch that contributed to this matter. I want to appreciate them. I want to also send my condolences to them for missing this daughter. Unfortunate happenings that happens in the high hill there. We took this hill as a place of blessing because we get food there, we get things to do. If we bring the firewood, we use it for cooking, we sell it, we buy food.
The DPO, however, cautions the residents of the area to desist from sending teenagers to the bush or farm for any reason, especially now that elections are around the corner. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Court of Appeal, Abuja, has reserved judgment on an appeal filed by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, seeking to quash the terrorism and treasonable felony charge the federal government preferred against him. The IPOB leader, who is currently facing trial before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, had approached the Court of Appeal to query the legal competence of the charge pending against him. The report.
Arguing the appeal claim before a three-man panel led by Justice Hannatu Jummais Hanke, Ozokamo alleged that his client was forcefully abducted from Kenya and illegally renditioned back to the country.
But instead of the lower court striking out the entire 15-count charge and allowing Nnamdi Kanu to go home a free man after the long walk, like Nelson Mandela, long walk to freedom, the lower court retained 7 of the counts. And we are here to say, intermediate court, Court of Appeal, strike out these remaining 7 counts. Because the lower court never calmly looked at the documentary evidence we placed before it. The respondent, the federal government, the DSS, they never responded to the critical issues we raised.
Meanwhile, David Casware, counsel to the federal government, declined interview with journalists, but he urged the court to dismiss the appeal for want of merit. He asserted that the IPOB leader was brought back to the country by due process. After listening to both sides, the panel said it would communicate a date for judgment. The case, however, ended with a drama from the IPOB's leader's supporters outside the court. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, workers, marketers and transporters, as well as residents of Awka and other communities of Anambra State on Tuesday, complied with the sit-at-home directive by the indigenous people of Biafra. To this end, all markets, banks, government offices, schools, motor parks and filling stations were under lock and key. The report.
A walk along major streets in the state also revealed that markets were locked except for roadside hawkers and petty businesswomen operating along the road. Also, all the shops and business premises along the Amawabia State Command Headquarters road to the popular Zix Avenue and Nkwameyi Market were deserted as people did not open for businesses. Commercial bus operators plying various routes within and outside Awka town, the commercial town of Onitsha, and Nnewi were off the routes while the various motor parks were empty. There was, however, skeletal businesses by shop owners few kilometers away from the markets. Tricycle operators and few shuttle bus drivers had a field day as they plied some routes to convey people to their various destinations. Some residents expressed divergent views on the order.
If you cannot obey your local laws, if you cannot obey international laws, then everybody has cause to worry whether you're actually a country of laws. Even investors, investors both within and from outside the countries, will also be worried investing their funds in your country.
The UN have given instruction, a specific instruction that Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditional.
They hoped that the federal government and the group would find a common ground and settle all issues to ensure normalcy in the state.
Now, with only a few months to the 2023 general elections and with political activities gathering momentum around the country, the Labour Party says it is enlarging its base with new structures and strategies to enable it to emerge victorious at the presidential election. This was part of deliberations at the party's national retreat. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports.
On day 2 of the national retreat of the Labour Party, the party sets up a committee to produce a working document that will include a social contract with Nigerians and also lead discussions on solutions to issues ahead of the 2023 elections.
They are expected to look at the Labour Charter of Demands, look at the manifesto of the party, interface with the candidates, and then come up with a working document which we are going to look and adopt, and it will form the basis of the campaign.
Representative of Labour and trade unions pledged to synergize with the party at the grassroots in the area of enlightenment campaigns and called for the jettisoning of ethnicity, religion, while working together for the common good of the country.
The campaign will be taking door to door, and we must enlighten people. The greatest problem we have is that, unfortunately, the political class has left us in perpetual ignorance, most Nigerians. So we must be able to unveil that ignorance from the downtrodden Nigerians. We must be able to let them understand that it is not about where anybody is from.
Other stakeholders called on the party to ensure women and youth participation and delivering the right message of a shift from the ultra-conservative economic culture that has been in practice if national rebirth must be the new order.
The Labour Party must begin to mobilize Nigerians to align their democratic choices across all levels, away from their ethnicities and religion, to their individual legitimate economic, security and environmental interests. So that we can have a critical mass of a new order that will usher in good governance post-2023.
The presidential candidate of the party, while asking to work with the Labour Charter, however, asked party members and Nigerians to demand accountability from him when he emerges at the polls.
Your effort, your sacrifice will not be in vain. Whenever we succeed, please let's document it and hold me responsible. All I want is to encourage you, come out with a report, we'll document it, and we know this is what we agreed. And that's what we are doing. Bring that charter of demand.
Labour Party, one of the leading opposition parties, is promising to harness industrial revolution in a bid to provide solutions to the many and long-standing challenges Nigerians face. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has asked Nigerians not to allow political slogans to take the place of policy and development blueprints as 2023 elections draw nearer. Atiku said this while presenting his economic blueprint for Nigeria at the Private Sector Economic Forum on the 2023 presidential election organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. While reeling out his plans, Atiku lamented that Nigeria's economy is crawling rather than growing, accusing the APC-led government of consistently running on budget deficits since coming to power in 2015.
We will support the private sector to drive growth. We will and we shall. We will establish strong partnership in investing in infrastructure, in creating jobs and income, and in fight against poverty. We will listen to the private sector more. Understanding the private sector and securing their buy-in when policies are designed will determine the success of our economic growth and development agenda. Through regular dialogue with the private sector, we will build consensus, improve trust between us, and make new reform initiatives easier to implement and sustainable.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how Nigerians react to overseas travel trend. Details of this and more after the break. Thanks for staying. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Buhari blames militants for drop in oil revenue. Appeal Court reserves judgment in Nnamdi Kanu's application. Elsewhere, a gas cylinder explosion has left many injured while several houses and shops were destroyed in Babura local government area of Jigawa State. The incident occurred on Monday night when customs officers on border patrol allegedly shot at a tanker and it caught fire. The public relations officer of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Jigawa Command, Adamu Shehu, confirmed the incident in a statement on Tuesday morning. He disclosed that many houses and shops were burnt following the incident, adding that scores were injured, but no death was recorded yet. Police Service Commission workers staged another round of protest at the Federal Secretariat in Abuja on Tuesday. The protesters explained that the management of the commission has refused to attend to their demands since the day they commenced the strike. Some of the grievances of the protesters include takeover of the recruitment of 10,000 constables by police, lack of staff promotion, training and mismanagement of funds meant for permanent office of the commission, and then chairman of the Joint Union Congress at the commission, Adoyi, said that they will continue to protest until their demands are met. Now, traveling is part of human existence. Reason for it can range from the need for better work, family visit, medical treatment, social or other economic needs. People who love to travel enjoy relaxation, new cultures, foreign food, or incredible landscapes that are different from their normal surroundings. In this report, Noel Samson looks at the reasons for the craving of Nigerians to travel abroad and the challenges they face getting visas and the views of experts concerning the issue.
The quest by many Nigerians to relocate to more advanced countries where life is assumed to be more easier has been on the rise in recent times. These many believe is due to high level of unemployment in the country, low standards of living, insecurity, and other factors that militate against a productive life. Promising as it may appear, on the other side, in reality, it is not an easy ride.
There are so many reasons why Nigerians travel abroad these few days, based on lack of jobs in our country, insecurity, make serious contribution about that. So most of the young men now, after university graduation for so long, they are at home, no jobs to do. So they fear going to America and other countries. It's a better opportunity for them.
Some of the government of the day, they have messed the whole thing up. That is the reason why some other country that we are better than can't even give us visa. Even if we are going out there for maybe a program, do you understand, or a business trip, you get an embarrassment. Even from our Nigeria airports here, The Nigerian government don't have a good relationship with other countries. Do you understand? And Nigerian government have given us bad image out there.
The reasons for the difficulties in getting these visas to other countries were also highlighted by experts.
You give permission to somebody, an outsider, to visit your country. So you have to know why he is there. Some of them they take for tourism, some for studies, some for visit to family members, some go on conferences, on meetings, and what have you. And there are those who go for terrorism, like creating confusion or banditry, whatever. So it is very, very important for each country to ensure that they know why foreigners are going into their country. As you can see, countries are really coping with situations, their own domestic situations of violence and criminality and so on. So what more if they open the doors for other foreigners to come? That is adding too much problems to themselves.
Experts says if nothing urgently is done to reverse the trend, the nation will be hit by a drought of qualified manpower in all sectors of life, as those with these skills will always find a way of leaving the country for greener pastures. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, away from Nigeria, King Charles III leads a procession of the coffin of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, through London on Wednesday as hundreds of thousands of people pay their final respect. 6 days after her death in Scotland, Queen Elizabeth's body will be borne on a horse-drawn gun carriage from her Buckingham Palace home to Westminster Hall, where she will remain for 4 days until her funeral Monday. The King and other senior royals are expected to walk in silence behind the hearse as it winds through the capital streets and then hold a vigil upon its arrival at the cavernous 12th century hall in the Westminster Parliament complex. The public will be let in from 5 p.m. at 1600 GMT, with mourners already warned that they will face an endurance test in round-the-clock queues. Still on the foreign scene, Israel military said that Palestinian gunmen opened fire on its troops near a checkpoint in the occupied West Bank Wednesday, killing an Israeli army officer, where the troops were said to have killed the gunmen. According to reports by the Israeli military, the two individuals were spotted approaching the separation barrier in the northern West Bank, and it dispatched soldiers to the area. The reports say that two suspects shot at troops who returned fire. The official Palestinian news agency, Wafa, reported that the Israeli army was holding the bodies of the two men who were both from a village near the city of Jenin. Wednesday's violence was the latest in a long string of incidents involving deadly confrontations between soldiers and Palestinians in the West Bank. And that's a wrap on Trust News Updates. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.